Hey, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? What's going on, Twitch? Fabulous to see you guys. Thank you for tuning into the channel, and really looking forward to tonight's stream session, ground and sim. I'm really gonna try and be better over time. It's starting with tonight. I've been trying to be better about it, but I think I'm gonna continue down the path, trying to be better about being more balanced and doing more flight sim, less ground. Ground is really important. It is the most important thing. It's way more important than the flying. But I also I want to fly more. I want to I definitely want more visuals, and I want more engagement. And I want to more of the procedures. To walk everybody through the procedures. So definitely gonna try and go for that tonight. It's an easy one. Tonight we're gonna be talking about clearances, and it's really really easy to sort of like lose your way in this presentation, in this lecture, because number one, it can be really dry, and number two, there's a lot to talk about. And between pilot and controller responsibilities, the different types of clearances that are out there, it can really like get into the weeds. And I think tonight I want to focus on pilot controller responsibilities. I want to focus on craft and the IFR clearance, and then just kind of take it from there. Okay. Um, and I am going to be right back. I'm just going to warm up some coffee, and then we will get going. For those of you that are just tuning in right now, or maybe are watching this in the future, thank you for watching this video. My name is Philip, and I'm a certified flight instructor down here in Los Angeles, and I am wearing a Legend of Zelda t-shirt. It's a nice like Triforce with the floral background, Triforce silhouette, and it is very very appropriate and apropos like that I wear this, because just today I found online. I have been gaming for like a long time. I mean, I'm not like a diehard, but I mean, I love video games. I'm definitely a nerd for a few different things, and just today, and really like over this past week, I discovered emulators and video game emulators. I had no idea, dude. I had no idea what that was, and like how fucking gnarly they are, and what they enable you to do. Because growing up, being born in '88, and like growing up through the '90s with like Super Nintendo, and then PlayStation, and then N64. Holy moly, especially N64 being like my first initial exposure to like Legend of Zelda. The fact that these video game emulators are able to be downloaded for the PC, and then giving you access to those nostalgic games that I started off on when I was like 12 or 13 years old, is next level. I just downloaded an N64 emulator and downloaded Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and was actually playing. I had work to do today, so I didn't get a chance to play it all day long. I had to do, I'm putting together some teaching materials, flight training teaching materials, and also I just got back from a flight with a student. I had to prep them, with a flight, but I would have I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that, once you actually figure out like, how to actually change the resolution, make it look a little bit better, and then map the controls to a controller that you're using. The fact that I can play these games again is just mind blowing, especially as an amputee, because there are games that I could no longer play, like with one hand. Like the N64 controller actually is like pretty impossible to use one handed. So the fact that I can map an Xbox 360 controller to this and just play it on my computer, best believe that I'm going to be streaming classic video games every now and then, when I'm playing, Legend of Zelda, or if I'm playing Banjo-Kazooie, or I'm playing Super Mario 64, or 007 GoldenEye. Like, dude, I can't even believe that I'm able to do this. So, maybe play some Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time tonight. But first things first, IFR clearances, ground, IFR sim for sure, a few different places, and then we'll get to the video game. So I'll be right back. Zach, what's going on, my buddy? what's going on. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna make some coffee, and I shall return. So go ahead and hang tight with Tangles. Zelda would be sweet, dude. I did not know about the emulators until like earlier today. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, I would absolutely Beardsley like, dude. But you could just play. You said ROM hacks. You should look into if you're wanting to play. I mean, dude, the thing I went to emulatorgames.net. They just have these games. They just have them all. They got Super Nintendo, dude. I was thinking about doing Sonic. Same engine, but fan made more content. Oh no way! Oh my god! Oh, so those are the super nerds that are making that shit. All right, you guys, I'll be right back. Yeah, pretty much. What happens is when you're non-tower, you got to announce your position and like where you are in the pattern. You have to really keep an eye out. You have to be a really good listener and listen for people announcing their position. You have to like know where to look and identify them. And you need to make sure that you've got the traffic pattern right, the altitude and the left orientation. Um, in the dark, it's even more challenging because some of these airports they're not that well lit, so you have to know like the tricks of like what lighting is available and stuff. Because you're all coordinating each other, and you have to be very specific about like what you're gonna do, and then listen what they're gonna do, and sometimes change of plans. You have to like renegotiate because they are where they are, and so it's like safer to kind of extend this to like let give them space for that. And there's a lot. It's very very dynamic. Yeah, I'm waiting for my coffee, waiting for my coffee to heat up, and I just wanted to say, dude, I played some of that Halo last night, that Halo Combat Evolved, the first one, and it's amazing, dude. It's super super cool, and it's like it totally holds up. The cool thing about it is it's Combat Evolved is the first one. I've only played Halo 3. And so I didn't even play what is it, ODST or whatever it is. So so like the original Halo 3. So far, Combat Evolved, that first one is a remaster. They did Combat Evolved Anniversary, or like a special edition anniversary or whatever, and that's the one that comes in the bundle. It's totally redone. It's remastered, and it's like new skins everywhere, and it's like it's really really dope. And the really cool thing is you can kind of like Diablo 2, you can actually toggle back and forth to the original view, or do you want the new view, you know, with the new skins and everything. So you, at the push of a button, you can go back and forth like right then and there. And it just feels so good. It feels so good to play this, and it's kind of was jogging my memory. There goes my coffee right now, but it was jogging my memory, like going through even this one. I didn't realize I actually played some of this at a friend's house when I was really young on Xbox One, right? This is Xbox One stuff. I'm pretty sure, right? And so it wasn't until like I actually got in the Warthog, like that the Jeep kind of thing, and the way that it kind of slides around and skids and like kind of you control that thing actually pretty well. I was like, oh, I remember this, and you got to go around the corner to like go underground and around the corner to do that and stuff, and so it was cool to even in this game nostalgia. But I didn't really play this game. I certainly not as like a free like thinking like adolescent or like to really digest what was going on. It's kind of intense for like a kid, you know. Xbox One is what they stupidly named the newer Xbox through though. Yeah, because it's like yeah, the squirrel. Look at the eyes. Duh, let's call it Xbox One. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so I'm thinking we do the sim and then maybe we play some. I'll leave it up to you guys. What we should depends on if we get rated as well. If we do scary games, I vote scary game. We do since we did Dead Space last night, and I freaking am loving Dead Space 2, by the way. But I'm thinking we do either Outlast or Diablo for a little bit, and then we do and then we do a non-scary, just like cool palate cleanser. We do either Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, N64 emulator, or we do um, Halo. So that's just me. All right, be right back, guys. Dude, the other thing I'm gonna do is probably crack a beer here. It's been a little while since we've all shared a good brew. All right, my friends. And you know what? It's Tuesday. Hold on one sec. Dude, it's Tuesday, so let's have like a little like a 10 minute or like 5 or 10 minute talk like Daily Stoic. So, for those of you who are tuned in right now that are new, and maybe maybe watching later on, um, let's see here. Thank you, BB, kitty pie. As John and Martha say, drink and fly before 8. Seal your fate. What's up with her hair looking like a bowl of mac and cheese? You know what I'm saying? And what's up with John King looking like he's, got his head outside of a rocket ship? It's just like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, he's always doing this, And I'm just like, God, your eyeballs, bro. Oh Oh my God. Yeah, so for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, maybe, or are watching this after the fact, one thing I like to do, I try and do in the beginning of the week, is just to have like a super brief conversation about this daily Stoic journal that I write in every single day. It's something that my girlfriend got for me, that is just a beautiful tool. And for me personally, like, I'm big on journaling. Not everybody is. I think I would advise everybody to be, but I mean, who am I to say what people should do? But I know for me, it's been totally invaluable to learn to reflect, to learn to question and jot my thoughts down, and not only that, but to make it a ritual to do it in the beginning and at the end of the day, and also make it a ritual to once a week kind of look at the week behind me and reflect on some of my ideas. As a spinal cord injury survivor, I've seen some low points, in the road, and I've seen some of the highest points I've never been able to, I could never even imagine. And I think navigating these highs and lows, journaling through them all has been, and everything in between has been really the way to go. Keeps me on the straight and narrow, especially through those low things. And now the thing about it is journaling, like, I suck at journaling. That's the thing, is like I enjoy communication, I enjoy reflection, I enjoy humbling experiences, and I enjoy kind of learning, but with a blank page, it can be really tough to know like what to write about. And so I got this daily Stoic right here, and Ryan Holiday Daily Stoic, and these are prompts. These are actually daily journal prompts that are really cool. And the way that this is broken down is every week there's like a Stoic teaching, and then every day there's a prompt that you reflect on in the morning and in the evening. And what I like to do is, for the daily prompts, I like to kind of tie it back in somehow to the weekly teaching. They don't always totally line up, but I like to kind of make them line up somehow and find where the intersections are. And so I don't really get into the specific daily whatever that I talk about, but sometimes, I'll like discuss, things that might be going on, but I do like to talk about the weekly teaching. It's really, really cool. It's nothing like weird or anything. I think it's just really cool. Like this week is build up, don't tear down. And I absolutely love that Stoic teaching of like, it's better than the high road. Build up, don't tear down. And it's something that I know for me, when I was going through these low points, like, I was not good about this. It's harder to build up than tear down, I think. A lot of the time, I think it's easier to find the negatives in things. And I know for me, like, when my self-perception, going through my spinal cord injury in particular, like, my self-perception was not healthy. I was very quick to tear myself down instead of build myself up, because it's hard to build yourself up when you don't have the fuel for it, or when you don't have the tools to do so. It's much easier to identify problems or things that you wish weren't the case, or whatever, even when things are going great, it's sometimes easier to identify what's wrong, that one thing that's wrong, in a sea of awesome things, And it's not like, identifying issues is wrong, but, I think it's very easy to be imbalanced and to tear down rather than build up. It takes courage to build up. It takes vulnerability to build up. I think it takes empathy to build up. Especially when you're talking about outside of yourself, obviously, right? And I just think that that's such a good state of mind to be in, like, as we go forward, like, through the rest of our week, which I hope everybody's week is treating them good. I know for me, whether it's in aviation or whether it's in life, like, in general, a lot of the time it seems that we get what we give, and like the more good we put out in the universe, the more we get back. And I know that for me, a lot of that giving good in order to get good back, like, I give for a lot of reasons, but that's not a bad reason to give as well, if it's going to come back to you one way or the other. Sometimes it's cool to just do good for good, and not about what you hope to get back or whatever. So, whatever your motivation is, it's nice to know, like, to give and to put good out there into the universe could really easily start with building rather than tearing down. It could be like lifting someone up. It could be just everybody wants to be acknowledged. I think that's like a big thing, and I think that it's tough to live in a society where everybody wants to be acknowledged, because if everybody wants to be acknowledged so badly, or to varying degrees, obviously, but, as a fundamental like thing, I think we all like to be acknowledged for certain things, that it's difficult to come across people that that are able to offer that up, if we're all kind of like looking for it. One of the coolest things about Twitch is actually you find people on here all the time that are willing to acknowledge and to, support and build up and not tear down. That's one of the many things I love about this community in particular on my channel, but dude, just in general, I think a lot of what I've seen in especially in the flight sim community on Twitch, there's all these building up, it's a lot of building up. But I just think that that's so important. Build up, don't tear down. The other thing too, I think, like, from a leadership standpoint, is like that's what a leader does. We know that leaders, they lead by example. That's like the best leaders. It's not none of this do as I say, not as I do bullshit. It's lead by example, and I think like building up and not tearing down is like something that leaders do, because they realize like there's no good that can come from tearing down. Not only does the person that you're tearing down not get help, that is not helpful, it's damaging, but you're also like acting out of emotion probably and anger of your own that you're not that in control of, because if you had empathy, if you had a grasp on how someone might be receiving being torn down, you probably wouldn't be doing it, right? Most people are good people, I believe. Except for those flat earth fucks that were in here the other day. But that's not, I don't really care about that. We're going to build up, not tear down. But I did want to throw that out there. So, yeah. Starflies. Rating with a party of 74? Are you serious? First of all, Starflies, I want to say that if you are who I think you are, your channel was recommended to me. What was it? Zach, was that like a few nights ago? Thank you for the follow, by the way, guys. Yeah, sorry about that. That was, I'm normally a lot better about my language about that, but yeah, they were, they were in here. I think they were just trolling me, but yeah, anyways, point is your channel was recommended to me, I believe. Are you the CFI? You're like a CFI that, actually what they were saying is if you're who I think you are, your use of strong language, I believe, is, yeah, well, there you have it. So anyway, that is, yeah. Hey, thank you for the raid. I've been meaning to actually, you know what, now that you're here, I'm gonna follow your channel. They had a really, really positive, like, awesome things to say about your channel, and I was really intrigued. I'm new to Twitch. Oops, wait, shit. I'm new to Twitch. I've been instructing I just finished my first recurrent training, my 2-year recurrent. And I'm big on ground, and I definitely don't check out well, now I have to. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for the raid, and I am going to check out the channel. I will not be taking your suggestion to not check out your channel. I will be doing the opposite, and that is a promise. And I just really appreciate it. I am an amputee instructor. My left arm is gone. And so one of the things that I'm big on ground, I'm big on workload management, stress management, cockpit organization, and procedural discipline, checklist usage, things that we're supposed to be big on, but uniquely, like, I'm big on trim. So I try to, and I have a lot of ground. I'm big on ground, in general. So I bring that. I have all these PowerPoints that I use for my students that I've been putting together for the private and the instrument rating. The instrument rating is my favorite thing to teach, and so I thought, why not bring it to Twitch? Why not have like a hybrid, like a ground school and like sim kind of program that you can like bring to Twitch. Nothing really super formal. I do have a calendar though, like that I plan out in the beginning. Trim is my friend, dude. Me and Trim, we're like this, dude. So yeah, and then occasionally I'll stream like video games on here as well. So anyway, thank you for this for the raid, and for everybody that's here, welcome. You guys are awesome, and tonight is a really special night. So I mean, I really like Tuesdays in general. I like all the days. I do Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Occasionally I'll do Fridays as well. Tuesdays are IFR days though, IFR Tuesdays, and then Wednesdays are private pilot, ground and sim, and then Thursdays will be flight skills Thursdays for private pilot as well. So we try and really cater to the private pilot. Ground school that we try and do on Wednesdays, and we try and do some ground on Thursdays too, but like we'll do aircraft performance tomorrow, and then traffic pattern flight skills Thursday. We'll do traffic pattern. I got a little bit of ground for the traffic pattern as well, and we could like kick up the wind and look at crosswind landings. We've done airspace and pilotage. We do regulations. So yeah, so tonight is IFR Tuesdays, and we're doing clearances. So we'll be looking at, this is a long lecture that we're not going to go through all of it. We're definitely going to like cut this way short and get in the airplane and fly IFR around the LA basin and with Pilot Edge. So, definitely thank you guys for the follow. And since all these things, cost money and subscriptions, I'd use Jeppesen. I do a 4-flight subscription, like, Pilot Edge costs me. If you guys want to support the channel by leaving a donation or a sub, I would be so grateful for that, because, as an instructor, like Starflies knows, it comes at a great cost of time and expense on our part to bring that experience to you guys. And all these PowerPoints that I made myself with countless hours. So, I really would appreciate the support and the subs. So with that, I really appreciate it. Just wrapping up actually discussion on, I like to start my week with, like motivationally with this like daily Stoic journal that I write in. And feel free to watch the beginning of this to listen to that discussion. It's a really awesome journal. I recommend it. I write in it daily, one in the morning, one in the evening. It's a daily prompt journal, so it's not just blank pages. They actually there's a prompt every single day, and it's organized into a series of like the 52 weeks. Each week is a different like Stoic philosophical like teaching, like a different idea to like kind of unite the days of your week and something to think about throughout the week. And this week is build up, don't tear down, which I was saying I absolutely love the idea. Peter, thank you, dude. Good to see you, man. Thank you again for the sub. Thank you for the sub. Welcome. So yeah, I definitely encourage you guys to check that out. Stick around actually after the sim as well. We're playing through a scary video game October. We've been going between Dead Space, Outlast, and Diablo. Although I'm open to anything that you guys wanna, you guys wanna chime in for a scary video game October. The other thing is I just got the Halo Master Chief Collection, and oh my god, I'm having a great time in the first Halo game I did not play. I've only played Halo 3 on the Xbox 360. And so, Panda, thank you for the follow. Ordinary Evening, IFR Tuesdays. I know, dude. Here it goes. Ori, Dark. Oh, you know what? Ori Darkwind. Is that with respect to Ori, like the video game? So something like if you don't get off your ass and fly, you'll just be another groundhog type of thing. Yeah, something like that. I like how that's straight and to the point, What was I saying? Oh, so on the non-scary video game October side, like I got the Halo Master Chief collection, amazing also, and dude just got a Nintendo 64 emulator for the PC with whatever you guys want to play. But I have Ocarina of Time. I have Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I'm like sporting the Legend of Zelda t-shirt right here with the floral pattern right there. So anyway, welcome. Okay, you guys, let's get into it. We're out here. It's been 30 minutes. I'm so jazzed to have everybody here, man. You guys are great. Beautiful people. Beautiful people. Let's talk clearances. Let's talk clearances. Yeah, and what was, I'm sorry, starflies. I keep wanting to say fireflies. But yeah, starflies, man. Dude, really quick, if you're still here, what do you fly? And are you a double I? Do you have your instrument rating on your certificate as well? Are you doing like actively like instrument training, or like where are you like a? I also don't have my MEI, my multi-engine instructor. Are you a multi-engine instructor? What kind of work do you do? That's so trippy that you just rated me with all these beautiful people. We were just talking about you like maybe 2 nights ago, and I being new to Twitch, there's a lot of people that I don't know, you know. But like CDL, who does a lot of the Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 stuff, you know, supports my channel. Sim Caesar is another one, supports the channel. So it's nice. Like I love the community here. It's very like very much build up, don't tear down. You know, it's very very cool. Like everybody's for the most part supportive. Agent, thank you for the follow. Below minimums. Ooh, love the name. I was talking to her in Discord and she said she was going to bed, but she got her instrument rate. Oh, got you. Okay, cool. She got her instrument rating earlier in the year, but is not a double I or an MEI. She's not double I. Starflies, and I am instrument rated. I teach Canadian Ultralight and FAA Sport. I'm actually headed to bed. Cheers. Oh, wonderful. Starflies. I see. I see. FAA Sport and Canadian Ultralight. Well, you know what? Being instrument rated also very impressive. Like that instrument rating was not easy, and so thank you for the follow. You're headed to bed, no problem. I'm looking forward to it, and you know, any input that you have, I definitely invite you to come back and join us during ground sessions, and maybe you know, have a CFI guest, you know, maybe chat on Discord or something like that. I definitely encourage you guys to follow my Discord as well. But yeah, looking forward to it, man. I think we could learn. We can all of us, you know, can learn a lot from each other, and I really appreciate the support, man. So yeah, thank you. Okay, let's get into it, you guys. Introductions, you know, super important, but let's what do we got here? Got my coffee. I hope you guys how are your guys' like week treating you? You guys, your week off to a good solid start. Let's see here. Unusual attitudes. By the way, just to give you guys an idea, these are the PowerPoints that I have that I've made myself. Boom. For between instrument rating and private, all of these. So I mean, we got some stuff that we could talk about for sure. Aerodynamics. Dude, you gotta have these regulations right here. We got instrument rating regulations. We got private pilot regulations. Let's see here. IFR clearances. Let's go. All right. And I'm going to do my best to really kind of make this abbreviated and just get in the airplane. All right. So tonight we're talking about IFR clearances, and the thing about a clearance is like we need to understand, and this is totally applicable to anybody who, whether you're a pilot in real life or not. This channel is right for you. This ground is right for you. Whether you're a student pilot or you're a private pilot and you don't have an instrument rating, or if you're not a pilot at all, you don't even do any IFR flying. You know what? It doesn't matter because first of all, everybody gets clearances. It will help with your sim when you get these clearances, like when you're on with your VAT sim or you're on with Pilot Edge, or even if you don't use VAT sim or you don't use Pilot Edge, it's important to understand at least what else is out there that is not going on. Worst case scenario, you don't use those ATC services in the sim, and worst case scenario, like you have a better you walk away from this ground with a better understanding of what else could be going on, and you have a more developed understanding and appreciation for the sim that you are doing that is not involving ATC. And who knows, maybe this will inspire you with an understanding of clearances and the communication between in particular pilot controller responsibilities, some of the things that can be said back and forth. Maybe you will be inspired to go over to Pilot Edge or to VAT Sim. I actually don't have experience with VAT Sim, but I hear decent things about it. I hear kind of a mixed bag, but Pilot Edge I can't recommend enough. So tonight is about clearances, and it's all about that communication, that back and forth, pilot controller responsibilities. We'll be talking about the IFR clearance. We'll be talking in short about the holding clearances, and kind of wrap it up with that. Like there's a lot more to say, but the essence of clearance is that you don't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, well, you might find that you get what you need. That's a direct quote from Not the Far Aim. So the thing about the Far Aim, okay, so the Far Aim is a book of that's basically divided up into into two halves, because that's the way that fractions work. Dumb. So the first half is regulations, and what I mean by regulations is like the rules of that ought to be in the Far Aim. Dude, right? Imagine if this was in the front of the Far Aim. That's so funny. Or what if they did something like totally dope, like Confucianist, like, like deep thing, and we're like, whoa, dude, like, you're the FAA, what are you trying to be, like, they're trying to, like, freaking zhuzh up the freaking regulations or something. And that is right, I did say zhuzh it up. And, dude, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, dude, that new series on, what is that, is that gonna be Netflix? Forget what I was watching it on, but I was watching with my mom, and that show is dope, dude. That show is dope. Anyways, point is you got the aim is the other half of this book. The first half being like the regulations, being the rules, and then the second half is the aim, where there are a series of chapters of things that are advisory in nature, but essentially regulatory. They are not regulations, but if something happens, if there's a deviation that happens, or some criminal thing that happens, or some accident that was a violation or whatever that is not in a regulation, they are going to go to the aim and they're going to say, okay, well, because the aim talks about how to fly the traffic pattern. It talks about what the different types of airport lighting. It talks about clearances, IFR clearances, and phraseology. It talks about airspace. It talks about ATC. So, they're going to reference the aim and be like, look, like, this is a regulation, but this is not a regulation, but it establishes how we do things as pilots. So I would encourage you to go to the aim below minimums. What up? Thank you for the follow. I would encourage you to go to the aim for more reading about the things that we're going to be talking about tonight with IFR clearances, starting with Chapter 4, ATC clearances and aircraft separation. Who would have thought of that? Chapter 5, departure procedures. That's actually going to be alluded to. We're not talking about departure procedures tonight. That will be a separate ground lesson, but departure procedures there's communication there that, before we depart or as we're departing and we're establishing radar contact with a distant, a departure controller, there's communication there and a clearance, additional clearances. Pilot controller responsibilities, section 5, clearly spelled out right there, So, let's see here. That would make reading regs so much more fun as if it wasn't fun already. Yeah, ordinary bedside reading, dude. FAA Cones? Cones? What? Peter, what kind of what is the sound of one main lowering? What? Below, I'm liking your channel, my kind of thing. I'm instrument rated pilot, currently in ATC training. Absolutely, dude. Wow, much respect. You know what? It's ATC and pilots. We're right there. We're on this. Everybody's on the same team. And you're instrument rated, right? So when you're up there, it's you all are together. But it is not a game of Simon Says, really, as it's often taught. It's not Simon Says. A lot of the time you are, being given headings or you are being given altitudes or whatever, especially in a radar environment. But, if a clearance does not work out for you, if first of all, we'll get into pilot controller responsibilities, but if a clearance is issued to you and then as a pilot you understand and that's your responsibility to know that you cannot comply with a clearance, like, it's totally negotiable. You don't have to just accept something just because you're at the will of the wind, you know what I mean? So it's nice to have this team effort aspect to this idea of clearances, Japanese, Japanese Zen teaching riddles. Ooh, what's the sound of one hand clapping? You would think I would know. The sound of one hand clapping is the sound of... Damn, that's a good one. As filed, localized or intercepted, but gear up. Sad. Yep, ATC will work with you as much as possible. Unfortunately, some controllers are less easy to work with than others. Absolutely, dude. They are humans as well, after all. So the AIM. These are the relevant sections in the AIM. And then in the Instrument Flying Handbook, fantastic book. There's the PHAK, the Pilot Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, that is pretty extensive. Pretty extensive, right? There's a lot of stuff, especially as a private pilot. There's a lot of stuff in there that you don't need to know. But in the instrument flying, and I mean that you don't need to know right away. It's good thing. It is intimidating. Oh, you're saying you just started reading this, the Instrument Flying Handbook, pretty intimidating. There's a lot in there. And that the instrument rating is shit you not serious business. But I have found that the Instrument Flying Handbook is more directly applicable to the instrument rating than the whole of the pilot handbook to the private pilot, for sure. And of course it would be. Right? The instrument rating is it's more specialized. There's more that the PHAK needs to cover. They're just it's apples and oranges, right? We're not comparing here. I'm just saying that for me personally, for the purposes of what I'm going to be reading it for, I mean, it's safe to say the Instrument Flying Handbook essentially is all important. But yeah, if you have questions, by the way, feel free to get in touch with me. I'm here to tutor, here to help and demystify. So yeah, there it goes. All right, cool, man. This one, on the other hand, I thought you were talking about this one. This is the intimidating one for me personally. I mean, not, as an instructor, it's fine. Like I've delved in, but dude, like as a new instrument rated pilot, dude, even as an instructor, like as a double I putting together all these instrument rating PowerPoints, like going through these two books, like this one isn't bad for me personally, but this one, you want to talk about the weeds? This is getting in the weeds, my friend. Yeah, you'll see what I'm saying. That's some crazy stuff. So what's to come? This is what I'm saying is there's a lot to discuss here with clearances. There is actually a lot to discuss, and that line really divides where the buildup is and where like the meat of everything is. So in terms of buildup, we do need to actually talk about certain things and pilot controller responsibilities. What is the FSS? What is the flight service? They could also be issuing clearances to you, like towers. But in really the focus is terminal control, TRACON controllers and ARTC controllers. Terminal radar approach controllers like SoCal approach, Santa Barbara approach, NorCal approach, and stuff like that, versus air route traffic control centers. These are like LA Center or Salt Lake Center or Oakland Center, Albuquerque Center. So the approach controllers and the center controllers are the folks that you'll be mostly dealing with, whether you're IFR or VFR. If you're VFR, you're flight following, you're probably talking to a approach controller. If you're IFR, you're probably on with an approach controller as well, unless you start really flying either a lot higher or just a lot farther. The farther you fly, especially obviously between terminal areas outside of the radar capabilities of, or the jurisdictions of those TRACON folks. Now we're talking to center controllers, so it's important to kind of understand who you're talking to, especially if you're in the sim and you're talking to SoCal approach, this and that, right? Or contact LA Center, blah, blah, blah. Or I thought I was talking to SoCal approach. Now I'm on with LA Center. That's weird. We need to understand what's going on. And then once we've discussed the system, then yeah, we can start talking about certain clearances. But, we'll see where we are. We'll kind of, I want to say, we'll focus on what the clearance is. IFR clearance, we'll definitely do that. And yeah, maybe abbreviated IFR clearance or something like that. Departure restrictions, clearance void times, hold for release. Yeah, I kind of don't want to go super over the top. I want to be better about that. Some pilot responsibilities. Okay. Now, pilot responsibility number 1 is to record air traffic control clearances. Number 1 air traffic control responsibility is to keep aircraft separated, but also to issue clearances. That's a controller responsibility to issue clearances. Pilot responsibility is to record the clearance. Whether you write it on a piece of paper or you write it in the scratch pad on your ForeFlight, whatever it is. And whether you're IFR or not, flight following is a VFR thing, right? You just want to copy that down and make sure that there's some written record of it. And then the other thing too is you might have filed something, but you might have filed a desired route, but the clearance that you receive might be a little bit different depending on if you didn't file the correct thing. Or like if there's an established route between places, then yeah, they're going to give you what the route is, whether you filed it or not. But then, if you filed something other than an established route for a reason, then you would negotiate with them, and then that is your right as a pilot, right? So not only do you record the clearance, but you also have the obligation to read that back. Just like it's a controller responsibility to make sure that instructions read back are correct, the pilot, that's your obligation to read an instruction back. So we do this for mutual verification. We do this for obvious reasons. It clears the air, and there's mutual understanding of anything that's incorrect, and they're going to correct you, and you're going to make the notes as applicable. If you are unable to read something back, am I allowed to burp back the instructions? Exactly. I think, and what is it? Burp. I think you are, as long as you burp. If it's like a Morse code thing, maybe if you can burp in Morse code, then yeah, then they'll totally get that. It's just going to take forever, So yeah. And then your pilot responsibility is to adhere to that clearance. So to record it, to read it back, and it's your responsibility to know whether you can comply with a clearance or not. For example, if they give you a clearance that involves, like, let's say you are cleared to Arctic. What up? Good to see you, man. Welcome. If you are cleared to an intersection or like a fix direct, that is not a VOR, right? Let's say that you're cleared to like an intersection direct. You're not just gonna read that back and go pretend to do it if you don't have GPS, right? That's only possible with a GPS. You cannot go direct to an intersection with the VOR. You can use the VOR to intercept an airway and then go to a fix, right? To an intersection that's maybe defined by DME, or maybe it's defined by a cross radial. That you can do, and that is what you should ask for. You should ask for an amendment to what's been said. And AT controllers are humans too. They're gonna make a mistake, and maybe they've been dealing with aircraft with GPS all day long, and you're the first one in a long time that doesn't have GPS. So just your responsibility to know if you can adhere to the clearance or not. So this is an important one, that in case of an emergency, emergency authority is used to deviate from an ATC clearance, PIC's got to notify ATC as soon as possible and obtain an amended clearance. So like an example would be like, if you're minimum fuel and you need to get down and no one's getting back to you, you need to, especially if you can see the ground, if you can see the airport, but you were assigned an altitude and you're technically IFR and you're not allowed to go below these minimum altitudes. Extremely important that you have the wherewithal to be like, you know what, that right there, that bullet point right there is, let me get my cat toy out. You guys who are not new to the channel know I love my cat toy. This right here is a 91.3 part 9, right? 14 CFR part 91.3 authority of the pilot in command. So also very, very important to know when you are legally able to even deviate from a clearance, right? Captain Seppi in the house, man. Oh, I love that you're those things. It says the dude on there. It makes me think of Big Lebowski every time. Captain Seppi, what is going on, man? Such a nice guy. Saying hi to everybody. Arctic. Yeah, few people fly without GPS these days. Very few people fly without GPS these days, and in reality, equipment suffix gets glossed over. Yeah, that's a great point. That's exactly my point, actually, is like, there are some that do that. And just like we can, the controllers can get in a mode of assumptions that, it can it can be faulty if they make assumptions. Maybe they don't pay attention to the equipment suffix and the flight plan that was filed. Could be an issue. So that's a great point. Very, very cool. Very cool. Let's see here. Yes, I'm the dude. I do abide. The rug really tied that rug really tied the room together. PBN codes, the death of everything sane. Goodness. All right. So what's the FSS? So first of all, it may be one of the pilot's first contacts with with somebody in this system, either by phone or by radio. By phone, you could call the briefer. Cold NATO with the sub. Thank you so much. I really do. I don't just say that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really, really do. These are things, like I say, I put these together myself. It takes time. No one pays me for this, but I give it to you guys because, I believe in paying it forward. I believe in, education, dissemination, and we all, I think we all get better by by putting it out there, dude. I remember when GPS was first coming out and it was not approved for use in aircraft, and everyone still had a portable Garmin strapped to the yoke. Times changed for sure. Yes, they have. But see, I remember when I did my instrument rating not that long ago. I mean, what was it? Probably 2000. Maybe 2016, 2000, no, it's probably longer than that. 2015, something like that. Like the Piper Archer that I was using, slant uniform, did not have a GPS unit in it. Two VORs, that's it. So, and ForeFlight does not count as GPS, right? We cannot use EFBs for primary means of navigation. So, call your flight, Zach, call your flight service briefer. They get lonely too. Exactly. Call them, shoot the shit with them. And, but no, really it is really cool, especially as a brand new IFR pilot and you don't have a lot of experience, especially when you live in a place with changing weather and a lot of dynamic stuff going on. It is best to call a professional weather person, a weather interpreter, to get their take on it. This is a great opportunity for you to actually learn how to do it. This is a great opportunity to get clued in on NOTAMs so you don't miss those. At least call them for an outlook, or at least call them for an abbreviated to get clarification on some NOTAMs or on something. Sometimes you'll have forecasts that are actually like contradictory. Sometimes the MOS and the TAFs, like, they don't agree with each other. Sometimes they can be really different. So how do you know? One way that you can break the tie is you look at that forecast discussion. You go into aviationweather.gov or whatever. You can actually get to the discussion on ForeFlight as well. And if they are saying low confidence in the TAF, dude, you know what I mean? Then there you go. If the TAF says something that makes your go no go decision and on the fence, if it puts you on the fence and they are not confident in that TAF, there's your answer. If it could go either way, if it is possible that it could go worse, it's a no-go decision. Better to be on the ground wishing you're in the air than in the air wishing you're on the ground. But still the best way to teach primary. Yeah, still the best way to teach primary. Beach, couldn't agree with you more. My briefer got me through the weather section on my PPL check ride. Super useful recourse. Yep, there you go, man. There you go. Captain Seppi, 1985, got my PPL. 89, got my IFR. Multi and commercial. I bought my first plane in 96. Damn long time. Getting old, Clip Wing. Getting old. I think you're getting old because you phrased it like that. Not all that stuff. I think you're getting old when you say things like getting old, Clipped Wing, getting old. I think that's what did it. That's what actually did it. No, I got you, dude. Okay, so now these briefers, they provide briefings, they receive and process flight plans, they relay ATC clearances, they give you those NOTAMs, and there are a couple different ways of actually making radio contact with these guys. So the dude is aging. Nah, I feel young, but you young guys, this is it's your turn to lead. Wow, Captain, man, I think as long as we have the humility to like learn from you guys, then we're in this together. I think that's the main thing. And as long as we are here to help you, like, that's one thing I love about the flight review is in a flight review you can help people get caught up and really like return the favor for these pilots, these people that came before and really paved the shaped the path. I like to kind of give it back and really take my time to like have patience and help them with the modern stuff, because airspace is ape shit, dude. Out here in LA, ape shit bananas, and technology, ape shit bananas. The resources at your fingertip, ape shit bananas. So it can be a lot really easily. So automation management, G1, glass cockpits, it can be serious. So got my PPL in 2001. I don't turn 12 till next month. All right, so we can make direct contact by calling them. You also have these chart symbols wise. Remote RCOs. So the frequency will be on the top right there. with the name of the actual of the nav aid that's associated with it. So you know, if this is like the name of some VOR or something like that, the frequency to identify that VOR, and then what is the FSS's name. So what a remote communications outlet is, basically it is the flight service station, but it's an extension of the flight service station. So it's a way for you to get in touch with them, like kind of by going through like a middleman, you know. So let's take a look at let's see here. Example, let's pull up like the IFR chart here. Pretty self-explanatory. So like right here, right? Look at Fillmore. So this is the frequency here, 122.1, that you're going to be calling them on, and then you're listening back on the voice function of 112.5. Actually, you know, we know that with VORs, you know, you have this well, the VORs have an audible function as well, that you can, like, you're listening to the Morse code, for example, coming back. So you're transmitting to them on 122.1, and then you're listening to 112.5 back. And this RCO frequency is you're talking to Hawthorne flight service, actually. Hawthorne flight service. Another example would be here, right? Gorman. You're talking to Rancho Murrieta flight service. Here's another Hawthorne flight service. So yeah, okay. So you got the RCOs, and yeah, multiple frequencies potentially. Yeah, we just discussed that right there. Ground communications outlets, nav aids. Cool. Voice transmitted, no voice transmitted, right? So just know what you know, when you go into your check ride. These are all snippets taken from the Aeronautical Chart User's Guide, by the way. Something that you definitely want to take into a check ride or a flight review, or a instrument proficiency check or something like that. Just to know, you know, well, what does the line under the thing mean, and, like, you know, these things. So just knowing what they're depicting here is no voice transmitted on this frequency, you know. You're listening only. So okay, standalone RCOs. So here's an example. Here's some examples of, like, standalone RCOs not associated. So, like, here's an on-field RCO right here, Hawthorne. This would be, like, not associated with a nav aid. So this would be like on 122.3, you're talking to Hawthorne flight service at Santa Barbara airport, actually. Kind of cool. And again, the remote communications outlet and the flight service station, they are one, you know. So that is, we're talking about the flight service station right now. This is what this is, right? You're getting weather stuff from them. You can file your flight plan with them. An important resource to know that how we can obtain certain clearances and file our flight plan and establish this communication early on in the process. Okay. When departing an airport in Class Golf, a pilot receives an IFR clearance from the flight service station by radio or telephone as one way to receive a clearance. The clearance will contain either a clearance void time, or in which case will contain either a clearance void time, in which case an aircraft must be airborne prior to that time, or a release time. So that clearance void time, you know, if you're departing a non-towered airport where somebody can, you know, release you for takeoff, right? that can be on the phone with a controller, be like, hey, you're ready for this guy, right? Yep. Okay, cool, awesome. He's taking off right now. Boom, hang up, clear for takeoff, right? Runway, whatever. They know you're coming. They need to have some window of time, after which they can start asking some questions here. So, yeah. So if the void time is, for example, 10 minutes past the hour and the aircraft is airborne at exactly 10... Oh, shit. And if the aircraft is airborne exactly 10 minutes past the hour, the clearance is void. You ideally you establish two-way radio communication with them by that time, by the way. If your clearance is void, try not to overthink it. If you're beyond that time, what that means is you are not guaranteed that IFR separation that you normally enjoy, like when you are where you're supposed to be and under IFR. So that's the main thing. Like, well, what happens if is it really that big of a deal to go over my time? Why don't I just leave? What if it's 11 minutes? Is it really that big of a deal? The answer is yes. You had a window of time, and beyond that window of time, regardless of how long or short to you that is, the fact is after the clearance void time is done, you do not have a guarantee of that IFR separation. That is what that clearance void time does. I opened my VFR flight plan. Hardest thing to do is keep a pilot humble. Well, that's the cool thing about the instrument rating, dude. Instrument rating keeps people real humble. Opened my VFR flight plan over VOR for my PPL across country, and I thought it was so cool. It really is, because you know why? You know why you thought you were cool? Because you were. And you know why you were? Because you really utilized a service that is a fundamental part of a system that, I think a lot of the time, people don't take advantage of, or at least maybe some don't, and it's cool to use tools, used to be the only way to call flight service before cell phones. Just kidding. Don't be that guy. Right? Yeah, ATC might be holding someone because we can't let anybody else in. Oh, right. So below minimums from your point of view. So having studied ATC. So I'm super interested in this point of view, by the way. ATC might be holding someone because we can't let anyone else in while you're released. So if your release time expires after 10 minutes, they might be clearing somebody for the approach at 10 after. Or not. Or from my understanding, it might not even be the approach. It might be clearing somebody maybe for departure. If I understand this correctly, I think it's likely going to be an approach, but they might be clearing somebody else in a distant airport for a departure along a route where basically your spot in line is now closing and shrinking. That would normally give you that separation that, and that's somebody departing actually. Yeah, right? But I think, that totally makes sense about approaches, though. That's a really great point. Yeah, feel free to chime in, by the way. That's really, really interesting that you're going through ATC. I've even thought about that. I don't have an interest in doing ATC, but just to have the empathy, it's so hand in hand, the pilot and the controller. So pilots must read their IFR clearance back. Oh, so the tower, okay. So the tower controllers are involved in handling an instrument flight, right? Tower controllers are crucial to this process. Clearance delivery frequencies can be found in the chart supplement on the on the instrument approach chart for the departure procedure. So tower handles landings and takeoffs, right? The runway area, right? The runway the approaches and whatever. The approaches specifically beyond the final approach fix, but the clearance delivery is that TRACON controller, or excuse me, not clearance delivery. The clearance delivery will be a facility actually on an additional frequency on the airport surface, like the tower, where if there is a clearance delivery, you're going to call them first on the ground and get your clearance right away. and then call ground for your taxi instructions, and then when you're ready to go, call tower for the departure. So that's kind of the way you step through that. Misspoke there. It could be that it could be someone waiting for an approach. Could be someone else waiting to depart at the same airport. Yeah, it could be a lot of different things. You're just inconveniencing everybody. Yeah, I'm at a tower and approach control facility in the East Coast, so I can answer stuff tower and approach. I love it. I absolutely love it. Fun fact, most Charlies and Tursas controllers work both the tower and TRACON for their Charlie Tursa. I did not know that. So when you're in the tower at a Charlie airport or a Tursa, of which there is one actually nearby me. There's a Tursa in Palm Springs. So they're not totally extinct. But the controllers work both the tower and the TRACON. So when you're on with the Charlie, let's say, or the Tursa, and you're on with that last approach controller before the instrument approach, you're telling me that is typically somebody in the tower at that airport? Is that true? That's very intriguing. I'm fully certified. I will spend half the day in the tower. When I'm fully certified, I will spend half the day in the tower and half the day in the TRACON. Wow, how cool, dude. I bet below minimums, I bet you watch the traffic controller streamers, right? I subscribe, or I follow a couple of those guys. They aren't in the tower cab. They are in a radar room, and they're in but they are in the same building. I love it. That's great, dude. That's great. So when you read back this this clearance, so if there's no clearance delivery, you're getting your IFR clearance with ground. And if when you read back that IFR clearance, you use craft to record. Well, I should say when you record it. When you record the IFR clearance, you're writing it down in craft. Gives us the acronym, and we'll look at craft in a little bit. But CRAFT is a acronym that helps you anticipate and record the essential elements of an IFR clearance. And C is for clearance delivery, R is for the route, the routing, the A is for the altitude, the F is for the departure frequency, and the T is for the transponder code. And together, that is your IFR clearance. You're going to read that back. So let's talk about TRACON. It's been alluded to actually right now. Like, what do we mean by TRACON? We're talking about the terminal radar approach controllers, and this is a facility. It's a controlling facility, because they are the connective tissue between the airport environment and the en route structure. A lot of the time, they are the connective tissue. They're the connective tissue between airports in relatively close proximity to each other. And the space that they're responsible for normally extends 30 miles from the facility and up to 10,000 feet. Where I am, you want to know where your TRACON and center approach controllers are. And for me, my approach controllers, my SoCal approach, is down in Miramar. And the interesting thing from their point of view, and just for your awareness, and this goes for the sim controllers as well. Like, what randomly, like, why are they giving me headings and telling me to go to certain altitudes? Why? Because they're what they're doing is they're assigning you altitudes to level off at, or to climb to, that allow them to give you headings to steer you around traffic or whatever. These diverse vectors that they're able to give you are done in what's called the diverse vectoring area. And that minimum vectoring altitude, these are areas where they can give you these diverse headings. These areas, these sectors, you need, in order to be given those headings, you need to be at a minimum vectoring altitude. So their job is to just get you up to that minimum vectoring altitude as quickly as possible and safely as possible. there's nowhere that you can well, first of all, there is. You can absolutely go on the FAA website. You can really get into the weeds and download images that are not that great looking, actually, in my opinion. They're kind of like scratchy looking for some reason, but they're shapes of the MVAs in your area, and it's just kind of super IFR nerd stuff to know that. But at the end of the day, like on their radar screens, like the MVAs are a filter that is published on there, and they know like where your MVAs are, and all you need to do is just get to an assigned altitude, and that's all you need to. Our own training material is just so you're like, yeah, tell me about it. Okay. Okay. And then you got the center controllers. So these folks are, you can see this is like big picture. These are huge, thousands of square miles areas. LA Center, Oakland Center, Salt Lake Center, Albuquerque's, look at Albuquerque Center. So these folks are managing big picture IFR traffic in the en route structure. And they're divided up into sectors in the same manner as TRACON controllers. Oh, yeah. Captain Seppi's got a question for below minimums. I'm sure, yeah. Since he's a tower controller, yeah, I'm sure I'll come up with some. All center frequencies can be found in the back of the chart supplement. Yeah, so this is like big picture. Chart symbolically wise, like we're talking about, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm sorry. I need to like move my face. There we go. Sorry about that. Most center buildings are not in the city they're named after because of the Cold War, and they were worried about being bombed. Are you shitting me? So many were moved into suburbs like LA Center's in Palmdale. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's I didn't know that that's the reason why. I always wondered why, like, is LA Center super not in LA? That's wild. So chart symbolically wise, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at kind of this thing that looks like a stamp, or like a zipper line, that divides. So like an example that I know of near me is the line between Oakland Center and LA Center. Right here, you see this here, this line that divides right here, Oakland Center and LA Center. So Boston Center isn't even in Massachusetts, it's in New Hampshire. LOL, that's crazy. Here's a LA Center for over San Luis Obispo. Here's LA Center, Bakersfield. So yeah. Cool. Yeah, like as below minimums is saying, there's LA Center right there in Palmdale. Kind of interesting. Okay, so that's the buildup. So what is the clearance? Okay, a clearance is an authorization by ATC for the purpose of preventing a collision between known aircraft to proceed under specified conditions within controlled airspace. It is not an authorization. This is in bold for a reason. It's not an authorization for a pilot to deviate from any rule, regulation, or minimum altitude, nor to conduct unsafe operation of the aircraft. What does that bold mean? Just because you're told to do something doesn't mean that you have free reign to do it. In other words, just because you're told to do something, it's the PIC. Exactly. Cold said it best. PIC has the primary responsibility to know if you can comply with it, if it's conflicting with the safe operation of the aircraft, making sure you don't violate 9113, unsafe operation, right? Careless and reckless. You need to be aware that this is not a get out of jail free, card. It's not a hall pass. So you're going to deviate, or they're going to clear you. Like, for example, a great example would be like, you're cleared to an altitude. You ask for an altitude. ATC says, yeah, sure, go climb to that altitude. And it cleared, and you're right in the middle of Class Bravo airspace. And they say, hey, like, did you get a Bravo? Are you cleared? Were you ever given a Bravo clearance? And you go, well, no, but they told me I could climb. It's like, no, dude, you're not. You needed a Bravo clearance. You're in Class Bravo without a Bravo clearance. It doesn't matter that you were approved for a climb to an altitude that's in the middle of a Bravo airspace, right? So that's a pretty good example. Pilot responsibility 91.3. We talked about that. It's also the pilot's responsibility to request an amended clearance that is compliant with and in accordance with safety. Let's talk about the clearance, the IFR clearance. So what are these items? Okay, number one, the C is the clearance limit. So the C in craft is the departure, the clearance limit. Coffee. Oh, Captain Seppi. Okay, I fly into an. So what he asked. Below minimums. I fly into an airport that I don't usually fly into, or you flew into an airport that you don't usually fly into. When getting ready to depart, tower told me to stand by. Now here's the question. I was never hear standby. Oh, you never hear standby very often, but when I do, I don't repeat standby or standing by. I never got any feedback for it because I thought that the controller was busy doing something else important. So when I didn't say something, the controller was a little sharp and repeated the transmission, asked if I heard him. I am super confused about that because you are taught to not respond to that. So everyone using Microsoft Flight Sim in-game ATC has experience with that. Your opinion, you were right to not respond. That's what I'm saying. When a controller says stand by, that means they're busy doing something and do not want you to say anything. Just wait for them to call you back. That's what you do, but you didn't like it. Weird. Every controller is different, but you did the right thing. I agree. He called me for a second time. Yeah, you're absolutely. I hope you're double validated. So, the clearance limit's usually the airport that you want to go to. On a weird note, in many parts of Europe, standby has to be acknowledged. Very important to know. Very good. Agent, are you tuning in from Europe? That is a very interesting difference there. Normally, your clearance limit is the airport you're trying to go to. And the thing is you want to be careful. Like, are you cleared to the Camarillo airport or are you cleared to the Camarillo VOR? The clearance limit, if the clearance limit is the airport, they should say you are cleared to the Long Beach airport. You are cleared to the Camarillo airport. You are cleared to the Corona airport, right? So on departure, blah, 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 right? So they should specify that. Not all clearance limits need to be an airport. They often will be. I don't even think I've received one that wasn't one. But, when we fly farther and it's not a guarantee that you're going to go super smooth sailing to a place from here to New York, they might clear you to a clearance limit that is a fix, So just make sure that you're understanding that clearance limit. Very important to understand what your clearance limit is, and you can go back and listen to the IFR regulations stream that I did before and really broke down some of the core IFR regulations, but it really plays a role into how we respond to a radio fail situation, because leaving that clearance limit and how we leave that clearance, if we're in a radio silence situation and our radio has gone dead, the way that we handle that and that we leave that clearance limit depends on whether it's an initial approach fix or not. And so, yeah, we need to know what is it, The R is for the route. And like I said, it's the pilot's responsibility to know if you're equipped to fly a certain route. If they gave you a route that's a GPS route, for example, and you don't have GPS, you can't fly that. If they give you, like we mentioned, cleared to a fixed direct, can't fly that, And you also need to know that before you file IFR and accept this clearance and utilize the VOR equipment, that you've done your 30-day VOR check. The route of flight, it takes some other, some presence of mind and thought in terms of what goes into the compliance of flying a certain route. Let's see here. Okay, so altitude. So the altitude will be given. It's typically going to be an initial altitude with with an altitude you can expect to climb to within a certain time limit, unless where you're going is close enough that they're just going to give you one altitude and it's fine, or you're cleared all the way up to whatever. But like an example would be like your climb and maintain 3,000, expect 5,000 10 minutes after departure. Or climb and maintain 6,000, expect flight level 130 10 minutes after departure, right? And you're just going to read that back. And then you got the departure frequency and the transponder code, all right? So Cessna 1230 Alpha cleared to the Deauville Airport direct, cruise 5,000. So right, with a cruise clearance, with a cruise altitude clearance, cruise may be used instead of to maintain, to assign a block of airspace that the pilot's free to occupy. The climb and the descent is the pilot's discretion, but once a pilot leaves a descent, starts descending and verbally reports leaving that altitude, you have vacated that for the, you can't just return and climb. You can't be doing up, down, all you want, right? Once you descend and deviate from that altitude and reports that, you can't go back up without a new clearance. So just understand that when we look at cruise 5,000, they're saying is just that whole block of altitude is yours wherever you want to stop at. Cessna 1230 Alpha is cleared to Skylane Airport via the Crossville 055 radial Victor 18, Victor 18, maintain 5,000, clearance void if not off by 1330, right? Clearance void time in there. Cessna 1230 Alpha is cleared to Wichita Mid-Continent Airport via Victor 77, left turn after takeoff. So that was the so Cessna 1230 Alpha is cleared to Wichita Airport. That's the clearance limit. The R is the route, right? Clear via Victor 77, left turn after takeoff, proceed direct to the VOR. And then you even have a hold clearance in here. There's a holding instructions that we did. We did holds and DME arcs in a previous stream that you can go look at in the archive there visit my my YouTube channel. Climb and maintain 7,000, departure control frequencies 121.05, squawk 02412. Very good. Okay. Holding. Okay, so all I'm going to say here is the holding clearance is its own type of clearance, and yeah, it's going to contain, just like craft, it's going to, like the IFR clearance, it's going to contain certain things that will help you understand how you need to be holding, where the inbound leg is located, what type of direction of turns. If your clearance limit, the one thing I'll say about this is if the clearance limit is not the airport and it's a fix, they should include some holding instructions that upon reaching that clearance limit, you should know how to enter and remain in that holding pattern until your expect further clearance time is up. And that is how you depart that clearance limit. You're holding there. If you have to wait for an expect further clearance time before you can depart the hold, then you need to know how to hold there, right? You need to know how to stay there and fly these laps until your EFC time. If holding is required, if you don't have an EFC time, whether you have an EFC time or not. An example of where you would be at a clearance limit without a hold would be if your clearance limit was not, oh god damn it. if your clearance limit is not an initial approach fix, you know, if it's not a point at which an approach begins, and you are not given an EFC time, then CD, what is going on? Yeah, that EFC time, the expect further clearance time, it's a time that they will give you that you can expect. Vox, thank you for the hey, what's up, Vox? Thank you so much for the sub again, man. It's good to have you back, and I really, really appreciate the support. Everybody, CDL in the house. Yeah, the EFC time. So the expect further clearance time, it's a time that after which you can expect to either resume an expected route, or that you know, that you can, you know, resume, you know, your normal regular scheduled programming. You know, whether that's flying a certain route or whatever. It's the time that until that time you need to hang out there in this holding pattern. So we're not going to really talk about holds in depth, but that was a separate, it's like one of the gnarliest things that you can talk about in the instrument rating, but it just kind of needs to be said that holding instructions are their own clearance. Special VFR, IFR on top. VFR on top, like, if make no mistake about it, if you get a if you are cleared to VFR on top, that is definitely an IFR operation. So it's just something to, I love that GIF so much. Look at that. That's one of the reasons why I fly IFR, is just that. It's just you. When it's just you and no one's around, and you know, you pop out like that and you're just cloud surfing and you're just tracking and you know exactly where you are. It's like, dude, can't beat it. The way to actually beat this GIF right here is if let me move this down. This is an IFR operation. The way to beat this is if there were clouds actually, like, kind of pockets all around you, like maybe towering clouds all around you, and you flew out into a clearing, and it's like, oh man, it's such a beautiful thing. Okay. Yep, a pilot departing VFR intending to, we talked about special VFR, and do not depart VFR assuming that you're gonna be able to obtain IFR clearance. I love doing holds, but I'm also an instrument masochist where I actually loved every second of my instrument rating. Me too, dude. That was my favorite check ride. That check ride was my favorite day, dude. That was such a good day. Such a good day. Does VFR on top only apply up to flight level 10? Oh, I'm assuming you mean 10,000 feet. Yeah, there is no flight level. Flight levels begin at 18,000. But I get what you're saying. I have so much fun on my instrument rating. I was sad when it was over. Me too, dude. But then you pass your instrument rating. Now it's time for the bee's knees, dude. You can get out there, single pilot IFR. Below, have you done any single pilot IMC? That's when it's real deal. Yeah, cold. That's a great question. Yeah, so in class alpha, above 18,000 to 60,000 actually is the upper limit. Everybody's IFR in class alpha. Okay. Yeah, when accepting a clearance below the MEA, the minimum en route altitude, the minimum vectoring altitude, or if you're off route, if you're not tracking an airway, if you are below the off route obstacle clearance altitude, the OROCA, pilots are responsible for their own terrain obstacle obstruction clearance until reaching these safe altitudes. Right, so it's very, very important that, especially if you're special VFR, you're trying to get an IFR clearance, like, you're responsible for that until you are IFR at those safe altitudes. Let's see here. No, unfortunately not. I actually left from my ATC job 3 months after my instrument check ride. I was in Phoenix, so no IMC. Single pilot IMC, man. That's when I knew that I was that I really loved IFR, was that challenge and making sure that you're dialed in. Single pilot IMC, like you said, flying for life. Single pilot IMC at night. That is, you know, when you're descending down into the fog and you got the moonlit night like this right here. That scene right there at night with the moon above you, dude. It's just different. It just hits different, dude. All right. Adherence to, nowadays, that's all the ADS-B mandate that blocks out some VFR traffic above 10,000 feet. My instructor took me on a night flight at night in light rain. I got the leans. Very, very interesting there. I was scared shitless for 45 minutes. Best flight ever. Yep. You just got to reject every single thing that you feel, every single kinesthetic. I was just talking about this with my girlfriend. It's so interesting. You got to reject it. You have to toss it out of the sensory, you know, of the flow of information going to your brain. Toss it out. Adherence to clearance. So, yeah, we could really get into this. Pilot's discretion. Certain things that are, you know, pretty important, but not really for right now when we're trying to get in the plane. Pilot's discretion, descend pilot's discretion, maintain 6,000. Basically that it's up to you how and when you initiate that descent. Pilot's authorized to conduct descents at pilot's discretion until a certain point. Cross lake view VOR at 6,000, maintain 6,000. So, you know, cross lake view VOR at 6,000. So you need to make sure to get down there. That's an example of pilot's discretion that was not specified. If they're not telling you like immediately or expedite or whatever, they clear you down. You know, you need to get down to the VOR at 6,000 feet. That the only way that that's possible is if you do it your own way, unless they specify how to do it. So the omission kind of implies, you know, that it's pilot's discretion. That's kind of a good example there. Had to do that one in the sim. Let's see here. He asked for my pencil, tossed it on the floor about my feet, asked me to pick it up, reached down, came back with my pencil and the leans. I love it, dude. I love it. That's so great. I had to do that one in the sim before I was able to move to precision approaches. Let's see here. Wait, did I miss something, Vox? What are you referring to? I had to do that one in the sim before I was able to move on to precision approaches. Which one? What did I miss here? I'm trying to look. Scroll up a tad. Oh, thank you. Yeah, sorry for the off topic, but you need to check out the VOR 1.5 in the mountain and do that in the sim. You know what? We're going to look at it right now. Oh, you have it right there. So KMTN. I like to go on little tangents every now and then, especially if they're topical. I've done this. I've heard about this. This is top 10 most challenging instrument approaches in the country. The VOR, right, the VOR TACAN runway 5. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at a DME arc. Why is this so challenging? First of all, this is what's referred to as a DME arc. We did DME arcs that night, a night before, and you get on the approach on the arc. This is a normal arc, 14.7 away from Baltimore. It looks like the initial approach fix is here, Slough. You bring in Kumbe, the 021 radial from Baltimore, and you stay on the arc, but you're descending. You descend from 26 down to, it looks like 1800. Yeah, from Slough to Kumbe, and then from Kumbe to Goves at 18. Here's where it gets weird. So it can be challenging to descend on a DME arc, but that's not what this is about. What you're continuing the descent. You reach Goves and you cross the final approach fix. The intermediate the intermediate segment between Kumbe and Goves, the final segment between Goves and Zovap and the missed approach point, that's all a continuous arc. That you will not see that anywhere. It's normally at the final approach fix, at least what you do is you fly a DME arc and you turn inbound to the station, you track straight on a descent, and then you cross the final approach fix and you proceed straight. Not necessarily straight into a runway. It could be like, for example, the Paso Robles VOR Bravo is a DME arc. You turn inbound toward the VOR straight, descending, and it's not straight in per se like to a specific runway, but it's a straight final approach course. The final approach course in this example is curved. The entire intermediate final segment and final segment is curved. And look at this, man. Even though it's curved continuously, it's straight in. It's got straight in minimums. That where it dumps you off is actually straight in enough to, at the missed approach point, you should be aligned enough with the runway for it to qualify as a straight in approach. That's on a continuously curving final approach or a final segment. Here's the other thing. When you go missed, this is bad news, dude, for workload management. If you're not on top of this to go missed, you are screwed. You are absolutely screwed. You go missed. It's a climbing right turn to 2,500 feet to intercept the 068 radial to go from 14.7 DME down to 11 DME and then resume arcing. Resume the arc. This arc right here, this 11 DME, is the missed approach procedure. Clockwise to boast. They probably call it boast because you can brag that you did this without killing yourself. And then at least when you get to the missed approach hold, it's a direct entry, for God's fucking sake, dude. Imagine if they made you do like a parallel entry or something. So that's awesome, man. I'm really glad that you brought that up. That's really, really cool. I always like breaking that down for students. Is this why VORs are going away? Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, it's only, I want to say only a third. I mean, most of the VORs, like on the west, like it's really only in the Midwest that these VORs are going away. But yeah, a lot of the VORs, a part of the, what is it? The minimum something network. I want to say MON. It's a program that the government came up with to like prioritize like what VORs are going to be saved and which are going to be or like remain, I should say, and then when are going to be decommissioned. That's your punishment for missing. Hey, do this DME arc. Oh, you missed? Okay, do another one. Starflies was just talking about Mon a few hours ago on her stream. Yeah. That's what I mean, Mon. It's a that's interesting. Yeah. Starflies rated the channel, dude. I was like, dude, we were talking about Starflies a couple nights ago. So it's all of our ears must be burning, dude. Yeah, minimum operational network. There you go. That's what it is. Yeah. Most of these minimal operational network VORs, these MON like VORs, they're over here on the West Coast and the East. Actually on the West Coast or on the East Coast as well. But anyway, yeah, great. Okay, guys. Okay. Right, we got some examples here. Adhering to clearances. Let's see here. IFR Separation Standards. Cleared as filed. Sometimes cleared as filed allows, when you're given your IFR clearance and it's cleared as filed, it allows the controller to kind of like, if you filed it correctly, it just simplifies it for everybody. Yeah, like Jetstar 1424 cleared to Atlanta Airport, South Boston 2 departure. That would be like a SID. Then as filed, right? Except change route to read South Boston VOR 20 Greensboro. Victor 20. So it's like cleared as filed, except, change this and that. Okay. Bold Method. Bold Method link in here. I love that guy's stuff, man. Learn to fly navigation. The FAA is shutting down 308 VORs. Is yours one of them? I seriously doubt it, dude. Not here in LA. Yeah, I want to say that a third of them are going away. I forget. Is it a third of them that are going away or a third that'll remain? I want to say 2/3 of them will actually remain. Yeah. Let's go down. There's the Mon right there. Current airway structure, Mon. And basically it makes a lot of sense because like you're just seeing a lot more RNAV. RNAV is extremely accurate, or WAS I should say. WAS is just everywhere, so it's like cold, you're off to bed. We'll watch the rest later. Great info. Absolutely my pleasure, dude. My pleasure. Phase 1 shutdown in there. Phase 2, which happens 2021 to 2025, the remaining 234 VORs are shut down, I guess. So these are yeah, good night, dude. So these are the ones that are being shut down, correct? Phase 1 is the smaller the shutdown. So these are all, yeah. So all of these, so even there's a grip of them, dude, on the East Coast. These are all like all the places where I'm sure it's just like a pain in the ass to maintain if it's like snow and stuff. But see, there's like nothing that's being taken away, dude, on this. I mean, you get some in I'm actually surprised. That's the Bay Area. Big Sur's going away? Concord? No way. You know what? That makes sense actually, because Concord, you can do enough with Oakland, or I'm sorry, yeah. There's like a bunch in that little area, so that makes sense. Interesting. Wow, thanks for the heads up. Yeah, Mon. Yeah. And on the chart symbols it looks like this. These like Mon VORs. You can see here, let's see. Right, so you see this John Wayne right here. You got this Mon right here. Alaska pilot 737. What's up? What is going on? Are you a pilot for Alaska, or is that like I forget what we were. I feel like we've had this conversation. In fact, wait, Alaska pilot 737. Are you the guy that hit me up on Facebook that was a friend, like a friend of a family friend? I think he flies for Alaska. Or you're just another cool person. You might just be another cool person. But yeah, welcome. We're talking IFR clearances. We're wrapping up the discussion, and then we're going to fly some IFR with ATC. So yeah, cleared as filed. We talked about cleared as filed. We're just kind of wow, that sounds familiar. Maybe I used to sim a lot back in Flight Simulator days, but dropped off ever since. Oh, dude, very cool. So yeah, departure restrictions, clearance void times. As a part of the IFR curriculum, like for my students, or if I'm teaching IFR ground school, like a legit, course. We do spend nights like getting into clearances and examples and stuff, but I think we're going into almost 2 hours here. I do want to get in the sim, so let's do it. We talked about a lot of good stuff tonight. Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna set up my sim real quick. All right. Now here's the other thing. Well, I got to head out. I'll try and catch some future streams. Below minimums, thank you so much for joining tonight and for your contributions as well. And I do hope to see you around again. I just definitely encourage you to like keep pressing forward. You can absolutely do it. Yeah, I respect that a lot. Your ATC stuff and everything. Just keep at it, man. And thanks for chiming in and answering questions from people in the gallery. And you're awesome. So, Alaska, thank you so much. I am very touched by that. I'm very. That's very energizing to hear that, and I really appreciate that because it's been a journey, dude. It's definitely been a journey, but that's why I love instructing. I love doing things like this. Because we all have the same struggles. We all have to overcome the same things. But my situation means that I have to figure out how to go about that in creative ways. And so as an instructor, I'm able to share those creative ways and unique perspectives on workload management with my students, and that's what it's all about, dude. That's what it's all about. And typically, the way that it goes is they are quite motivated. When they see that something, I got to demonstrate everything. I have 3 IFR students right now in doing Redbird stuff, simulator stuff. And I've got to demonstrate everything. I got to demonstrate not only, procedures, but like steep turns, slow flight, stalls, in IMC, and so, I think that it goes a long way when I need to demonstrate something and I can really explain the process and how to prioritize something and cause and effect. Cause I fly with one hand. I don't fly with a prosthetic arm. So it's all cause and effect and, about understanding your airplane. Your mindset and personality is the reason why people enjoy flying and trying to get into this industry, inspiring them even more to keep it up. Your class, man, you are the man, dude. Thank you, dude. Thank you. That means a lot to me, for real. And we're gonna keep the party going, like kick ass tonight, dude. Fly some IFR for real. And I think you're right, Captain, you're going to bail as well tonight. Dude, you know what? Thank you so much. I love that you stopped by. And you've been coming around the channel for some time now. And always good to see you. Always good to see you, man. All right. Slim Man, 821, thank you so much for the follow, dude. Welcome to the channel. We got, we're just finishing up our IFR clearances ground. And we are about to hop into the sim. I'm just setting it up real quick. But Alaska, that's the thing, dude. Is it's all about attitude, and we were talking earlier that you get what you give, and instructing is one of the things I love about instructing is like it's one of the best ways to pay it forward, whether it be like through mentoring like somebody who's struggling. It's a great way to help people by empathizing what they're going through. We know what these students are going through, we know what a tough time feels like. We know how shitty these obstacles can feel sometimes, and so it's opportunities to help motivate people, help guide them in ways that you really could have used guidance. Stuff like that. That's just it's awesome. The one thing I'll say though, it's kind of a bummer, is I'm about 900 hours total time, and good amount of PIC, good amount of nighttime, good amount of IFR time, and that part 135 that I've been looking for, that's a tougher sell with the one arm situation. That's a bit of a tougher sell than I thought it was going to be, and that kind of sucks. So I like to think that, with more experience, building up more hours, at least to that 1,500, if not 2,000, be on that side of 15 rather than on this side of 15 at the, 900, with more dual, with more networking, more maybe traction in the community, in the industry somehow. Hopefully that will, fare a little bit better, like, as time goes on. But I just love instruction too, so it's all good either way. Well, I looked into some citation SIC. There was a job that I did get selected for, but then when it came out about the arm, I was like, hey, like, I was called in for an interview. Like, I had a good phone interview. They were like, hey, like, let's do a meet and greet, like a follow up. Like, they were gonna hire me for this citation SIC out of Van Nuys, and when I was like, dude, I would love to. And just as a heads up, because on my resume and my cover letters, like, in like 3 different places on my resume, I kind of, I don't put a spotlight on it, but I do say very subtly, like, I'm an amputee, and I think he once that came out, that I specified that, it was like everything was just came undone, and they were like, oh, we'd like to, but yeah, but when the owner's just not sure if this and that. Like, I don't think that they doubt my ability to fly the airplane. They mentioned about all the other shit, all like lav stuff and like bags and like whatever, and I don't think it's discrimination. Like, I see it from their point of view, frankly. I see it from their point of view, from like a customer perception standpoint, maybe, or it's probably just the hours, frankly. I think the risk reward aspect from their point of view doesn't make sense to do it when I have 900 hours. It's like, I'm already not going to be making that much money for them right off the bat, but if it's an additional risk to have, me in there, it's like, dude, it'd be nice if if I could start making them money right away, I guess. The thing that sucked was, and I'm gonna plug in my pedals and we'll get going here, but I did want to say, the thing that sucked is I know I can do it for a fact because I went to a Part 142 facility, and I sat in a citation sim and performed with a prosthetic arm. Like, for my multi-engine stuff, I do use a prosthetic arm, and I performed all of the SIC duties. Matter of fact, in a crew environment, I flew a V1 cut without my arm, without my prosthetic arm. I flew an instrument approach without it. We did a single engine instrument approach, and that was a legit 142 sim. And so it just it sucked. But honestly, like, between flight instruction and other things that I do, I haven't been applying like crazy either. So that no that I got, it might be, one out of maybe 8 or 10 before I get that one yes. And it's just, I'm not really playing the numbers game right now. So, if you have the time and the ambition, then you deserve the job. I work with people that have all sorts of disabilities with sodas. Yeah, exactly. They never fail to amaze me ever. Keep applying and perfect job will come. You know what, dude? I wish I could just hug you, dude. I really, really, that makes me like tear up. I mean, and real fucking talk, as somebody that's really going through it, and trying to keep the passion. Frankly, it requires no energy on my part to keep the passion. I love this job, and I love flying, and just the fact that I, made it, every single step of the way, I doubted my ability to do it. Every single step of the way. I doubted my ability to go solo for my private, and then I went solo. I doubted my ability to pass my check ride, but I studied really hard, felt really good about it. Still wasn't going to be surprised if something happened that I couldn't do it. Guess what? I passed it, but I'm not going to do my instrument rating because it makes no sense. It's just too dangerous. But then I started really flight simming, and I was like, no, I think I could do this. And then you work through it, pass my instrument check ride, but what's the point in being a commercial pilot? I can't really do the maneuvers or whatever. Maybe I'm just going to keep trying, and then I actually pass my commercial. Oh, but it's really unsafe to do my my multi-engine because then I need a prosthetic arm. Oops, got a prosthetic arm and then did the multi-engine, but I probably shouldn't be instructing because from the right seat, like, what am I going to do? I can't stay in front of the student that far. Oops, yes, you can, because your experience teaches you how to stay ahead of this process. So, I've seen it enough times where, like, if you stick with it and stay on the right path, you can't have tunnel vision. That's for damn sure, right? But if you stay on the right path and keep your motives true and pure, and you're doing the right things for the right reasons, then everything else kind of just kind of happens, I appreciate that, Zach, by the way. I don't doubt that you'll get there eventually. I really appreciate it, dude. I really appreciate it. You hear yourself, you're a genuine dude. Oh my God, thank you. And you have the love for aviation. You sold me the elevator speech. You sold me the elevator speech already. Just keep those apps out, man, and the job will come. Keep grinding the hours, and maybe throw different aircraft types in there if you can, and add to the list. You go far, bud. I really appreciate it, dude. I really, really do. When on my resume, I think I have 13. No. I think I have 13 different aircraft types of an PIC experience, in like 13 or 16 different aircraft types or something like that. So I really try and throw that in there. And I really, really appreciate it, dude. That's very, very energizing, very motivating. Remember to try and hit those job fairs. Word. And you know what's really cool? I'll say this, and I promise this is the last thing, and then we'll sim. Yes, these obstacles seem to be pretty pervasive, like it is very challenging to apply. But dude, I meet overwhelming majority of the people that I meet are like very, very supportive. They want me to succeed. They want to kind of help me out. The 142 school, I was applying for that job there. I was like, fine, like I would love to be like an SIC like at this 142, and they were like, no, dude, like we can't hire somebody with no jet time, This is a product that we're trying to like, But the guy that wanted to hire me so badly, that was the owner that didn't want to. The guy that wanted the director, he was like, oh fuck yeah, dude, like let's do it, because I was like, I can do it. I can stay ahead of this airplane. Like, dude, I fly the citation in the sim. I know IFR really well. I know the regs. I know the techniques, the flying techniques. I can do it, And so he wanted to hire me, actually, and believed in me, but, it didn't work out. But there's guys like that. The hiring guy at this 135 company that was pulling for me. Dude, these people are everywhere that do actually want to see that and that do believe, And so I do have I have hope, but I think it's not about hope. Like, I genuinely think that, practically speaking, that stars will align. You mentioned, actually, by the way, you mentioned that you're around people with sodas and disabilities. What are you talking about? What kind of people, like amputees, or like you work with people that have all sorts of disabilities? Are you talking about pilots? I know there are a couple commercial pilots out there like that have like a below the elbow forearm kind of amputation or something, but talk to me a little bit about that, if you could, actually. The other thing I want to do is just get more visibility, like in the actual industry. Oshkosh invited me some years ago to speak there. And I wasn't able to go because I couldn't afford it, but I can now. But speaking, I wasn't even an instructor then. But they gave me like I was on the bill. I was actually on the schedule, and they gave they were gonna dedicate like a stage and everything, and they were like, yeah, hell yeah, And I want to do Oshkosh, and I want to do Flight Sim Expo, and just get out there more, do things like Twitch, and stuff, and just, yeah, put it out there. FAA started allowing diabetes. We have some pilots with no eye from military. No way. Wild. I don't know the entire process for the sodas. I just know that the FAA has started relaxing these restrictions much more, it seems, more than ever. They've always been the bomb. They've always been the bomb, dude. I haven't had a single problem with my arm from a medical standpoint. They're like, okay. They're like, you can see colors, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, it's just my arm. They're like, oh, dude, then you're golden. I'm like, for real? And they're like, yeah, dude. Unless you need your arm to see colors, dude, then you're good. I'm like, you don't sound like a doctor when you say that. So yeah, yeah, I don't remember. That's what I remember. That's what I've heard. Okay, guys. So let's do X-Plane, and really quick, I'm gonna go to Pilot Edge. But that's amazing, dude, that's the case. I really want to buy this Flight Sim 2020. It looks amazing to fly some GA on. It is, dude. It really is amazing. But you know what? Like, for my instrument flying, I actually, you know, I'll do both, and they're both amazing. Microsoft Flight Sim, you can't beat it. You can't beat the cloud and particle like physics, I guess, or at least like the way that it's displayed. The shading is amazing. And reflections, and you know, it's beautiful, you know. And the fact that you can do you can have ATC services on there, it's super, super cool. Let's see, what are we going to be doing? Let's do, but I was going to say that the modeling, the flight dynamics wise, you know, I'm looking forward to maybe patches of improvements. I'll say that. Yeah, let's do some local flying. 65710. And then we are going to be a 172. And then we'll do slant golf. It'll be GPS. True airspeed 120. Departing. What are we going to do? Where are we going to go, actually, you guys? Let's do somewhere on the west, in the western United States. Where should we fly IFR to? Western United States. I say Western United States because that's where my fly-in for life. PDX Seattle. Let's do it. Let's do it. Ooh, PDX Seattle, huh? That's a little bit of a that's one of my favorite runs too, dude. In the jet. In the sim, at least. Like, that's freaking sick if you're doing that in real life. I respect that so goddamn much, by the way, that you do that. That, yeah, PDX, and then to SEA. What's that? 100 miles. Love this flight, 28 minutes in the 737. Dude, let's do it. Let's do it in the citation. Let's do it in the citation, dude. In that, you know, it's been a little while since I've done the working title CJ4, but I kind of want to now. I wonder how fast Slant Alpha. You want to see the citation? Let's do it. Let's go Microsoft Flight Sim citation, dude. And then I'm thinking it's if I remember correctly, true airspeed, I want to say is, this totally changes it then. I want to say it's 450 true. And then maybe we'll get out of the citation, run it. Weather's been pretty garbage today, so you'll get some actual. Oh, dude, we're gonna make it gnarly, dude. We'll make it gnarly regardless. And then I think what we'll do is we'll hop out of Seattle. We'll get out of the citation, and then we'll do some GA like in this totally unfamiliar area. I don't even know this area at all. So here's what we're gonna do then. In that case, we're gonna go IFR. That is what's the citation? 510 Charlie Mike. We'll do that. 510 Charlie Mike. It's a Cessna 5, not the 510. Hello, sir. Hope you're having a nice day. Hey, Huxian, or Huxia, Enonce. It's hard to know where the division is in it, But thank you very much. I'm having a great day, actually. It's great to have you guys here, and welcome to the channel. Thank you very much. Hux. Kino, the producer. Thank you for the follow. That is a Cessna. It's a. Oh, you know what? I think it is a 550. Is that what the code is? I think the CJ4. No, it's a 525. CJ4 is a 525 actually. If I ever played Ace Combat, I have not. I have not played Ace Combat, but I have been starting to get into DCS and the F-18. And you know you're an IFR nerd when the first thing you think about with the F-18 is, ooh, I can't wait to do instrument approaches to the carrier. I can't wait for a TACAN navigation. I just want to let you know, as a son of a father. Oh, dude, okay, this is killing me here. I just want to let you know, as a son of a father with one arm, you are an inspiration to a lot of people. I hope you're having a splendid day. Wow, Kino. Thank you so much, man. And I really, really do appreciate that. That warms me up. That really warms my heart for real. Like, to know that, somebody can be affected, especially so personally, like what you're saying. I really, really appreciate that. And that's why I fly. That's one of the reasons why I fly, and that's why I instruct. I'm a flight instructor because I want to help people realize their own potential. I want people to see what can be done with one arm and realize that you can kick ass, bro. You can kick ass. Okay. I believe it is the 525. So we got class golf, and this is definitely not 120. We're talking 450 true. Departing PDX. Arriving KSEA. Call the ball. Roger, ball. Now, we gotta take a closer look here at flightplan. Flightplan.com. Go to the login here, and let's take a look at what's actually going to happen. So we've got, right now, we are KPDX. Let's see, 6863. That's my citation here. They love, oh, that's right, Kuga Craig Hawk, the Hawk, is that Hawks? Is that Hawk 27? Is that Hawks 7? That's the arrival. It's like the Hawk. You would just ask for the Hawk, right? Or the arrival. Hawks like the South, like the Seahawks. Oh, exactly. So yeah, you would just ask for the Hawks. I remember the Kuga. And isn't Kuga? I know is a fix, but is that the Sid that's out of Is that the Sid as well? I'm about to see right here, but I'm just thinking here out loud. It's a town too. Yeah, you're right. No shit. Kuga. So in the jet, this is the one that we're looking at. 20,000. Does 20,000 sound right to you as well? It looks like that's what they're doing. Topping at 20. They probably have you higher, but. Yeah, so we'll do Kuga and then the Hawk, or the Hawks, with the Craig transition. We'll do that. Oh my God! I'm sorry, you guys. I'm over here just talking to my goddamn self, dude. This is what I've been looking at here. So I filled out this flight plan. And right now, so we're departing PDX. We're arriving SEA, but the question is, what's our altitude and what's our alternate? So we know the route actually is this. Oops. And then cruising altitude. Kino, my friend, he lost his arm a long, long time ago before I was born. He was 26, I believe. No way. I was 17, personally. Spinal cord injury is a motorcycle accident. He does more than multiple people can do together. And I'm sure you can do just as much. The fact that you started your training after such a traumatic event is inspiring. Thank you, thank you. I'm a big flight sim fan. Oh, yeah, dude. Flight sim for life, dude. Always wanted to be a pilot until medical things came up in my life, so I live vicariously through flight sim. Nothing wrong with that at all, man. We're here for you. We're your peeps, man. We are your peeps. I will be here a lot, I feel. You know what? You are absolutely more than welcome. You are also welcome to get in touch with me privately, like if you have questions or, you're just really cool dude. Really, really cool guy. Like, you are absolutely more than welcome to join anytime. I also do video games, I play like with an Xbox like this with my hand. We'll do a scary video game October. Like, have at it, dude. Welcome. Absolutely welcome. And depending on the medical issue, if you have questions about that, or if you want to do like private like tutoring to kind of, or any guidance or whatever, like, dude, let me know. I got you. Yeah, it's a SID, but PDX and SCA have some weird agreements where they issue the yeah, that's the one that I was thinking of too. The one or whatever the SID is and vectors to Kuga. Okay, cool. Because right now I don't see any SID that they're issuing, so I wonder if it is the one. So this will be 20,000, flight level 200, and then the alternate. Let's take a look and see what what is an eligible alternate. So what's around us? First of all, what approach are we doing into Seattle? We don't know. We know what we would like, but let's take a look at this star and see where we're gonna be. It's probably dumping us off on an island. First of all, what's the wind? The wind is out of the south, gusting at 28. YKM is great for an alternate, usually very dry and clear. Yeah, I was looking at Olympia, but what do you got here? What is it? YKM. YKM. Yeah, that's a pretty safe bet, dude. One thing I was gonna see was like, okay, well, what's the arrival gonna have us do? So if the arrival is the Hawks, what's it gonna be? So landing runway. So we're gonna be landing to the south. So maybe on the 16s. So from line, we'll make our way all the way down and around. Then expect vectors to the RNAV, RNP, or the ILS visual approach. So let's look at that ILS runway 16. And then I'm assuming they have a feeder from the VOR. Oh, you got to make your way up to Payne. It doesn't actually look like there's any a way out from Seattle. Is there? It's hard to see, but I don't think there's a feeder. Normally you like come out here because I don't see any procedure turn. You know what I mean? There's no procedure turn to come back out here. That's very kind of you. Thank you. You're welcome. I think that I could medically still be cleared to fly, but it's a lot of my own overthinking that's basically convinced me I could never become one because of medical stuff. I don't really care to be a commercial pilot. I just want to get my own private license, own plane. You know what? In that case, Kino, send me a message. Please find my email. Let's connect. Let me just recommend maybe a book. Some study material, right? Like that. I use Glime. There's some really good study material out there. you flight sim already, you can do this. You absolutely can do this. I bet you are a little bit getting in your own way, as we all do. Get in touch with me, please. Just let me know in the email. Hey, this is the Kino guy. You know, with the dad. Let's make it. Let's get some traction going. I'll bet you can do it. So I think you just maybe need to be pointed in the right direction. Get in touch with me, man. Let's do it. You don't need to be a commercial pilot, dude. You can actually absolutely fly. And by the way, there's a lot of different work that if you do want to work as a pilot, you don't need to be an airline pilot, to do that. There's a lot of different things that you can do. But you can just be a private pilot with an instrument rating and just, dude, that's baller. Ooh, hold up. Wait, what happened? Hold up. I just lost a screen somehow. I just lost a screen, so let me try and see what's going on here. So weird. Wow, you did your first VATSIM flight last night. Honestly, sparked something in me, like some passion that I had as a kid. I think is all where this feeling coming from. Join your Discord. I will totally take you up on that off study material. Let's do it, bro. Let's do it. I'm gonna try and fix this. Hold on, wait 1 second. So weird. I'm just gonna try and like adjust a HDMI cable.